Well, last year I won Umpire of the Year, and you posted, I don't know his name, so he must not be that bad.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich. And Chuck, do we have a week where we won two series and have a winning record out of the week?
Yeah, yeah.
When's the last time you think that happened?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the last time that happened, I wasn't on baby watch because my wife wasn't pregnant at the time. And a little update for everyone. Right now we are on like any minute of any day watch. So there could be a moment where I'm like, all right, yep, sorry, podcast might have to wait, updates might have to wait because
Priorities.
baby's coming. Like I told Chuck, I apologize. My inability to multitask everything that's going on. Baseball has sunken itself very low on the totem pole of things that need to get done. So Chuck is the person that is going to be pulling the definite weight, which he has been the past couple weeks, I should say, to be honest.
Well,
with you.
I'm gonna say this. I've noticed something. You haven't been paying much attention in the past 2 weeks, and we've been winning.
It must be
And
me. You're
how
right.
long ago did you start this podcast? And ever since then, we've been losing. So really,
You're right. You're right, Chuck. You've solved the riddle. I guess this is the last episode that we are ever gonna do, because me and you doing this podcast has obviously taken the RailCats to a level that they have never been quite before
wow.
on the far end of the spectrum, and my lack of paying attention has now boosted the morale because they don't have to worry about the outside noise. But they just have to listen to the inside noise when Chuck's there just screaming at them for whatever reason he may be screaming at them.
don't. I haven't been. Interesting enough, you know, it's a different team. It feels like a different team. It looks like a different team. Um, so really getting back at it. We just broke a 4-game winning streak
Mm-hmm.
today with a 4-2 loss that we should have won. It was there for the taking, and we just didn't take it. A home run and then a run, I believe, in the last inning. Bumps them up by 2, but really it was a close game of nobody really wanting to score.
Yeah.
Getting guys on base, getting hits, and then just letting them sit there and marinate, and then end of the inning. So that's interesting. Um, we've had fantastic pitching.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely
we
fantastic.
we went like 16 innings, I believe, something like that, with no runs.
We the
Um,
last this wasn't yes this wasn't including I believe this was including yesterday. I think it was like 50 odd something innings pitched and only 7 earned runs from the starting pitchers. Like and to kind of quote a little bit of what um, Spencer Adams said after his win, I believe that was what, Friday.
yeah,
Yeah, it was Fridays. And he said that the bullpen has carried a majority of the load, and it was time for the starting pitching to handle over that mantle, and being able that the offense is being able to score when they haven't been in the past. But it comes down to the age old question of the new age of pitching was what, pitch 4 or 5 innings and you let your bullpen do your work. But when it comes down to it, if your starters can go 7 innings and give up 1 or 2 runs, you're going to win majority games than not.
yep.
And the pitching's been stellar. Peyton Long's been on fire. Andres Diaz has been outstanding. Spencer Adams is finding a different level to his game. And it's bringing in your big boys to close the game out. And that's essentially what you want. And we're getting key contributions at key times. I mean, I know I believe you said Noriega got released because his wife was getting ready to give birth, and Cooper Edward comes in and he has a 6 RBI game on Saturday and becomes player of the game. Like
Five RBIs,
5 RBIs.
two doubles, 2 for 4 with 5 RBIs.
I, it, it's just like you said, you could attest to more of the what's been going on the field and the actual games, but the snippets that I'm being able to watch between watching games and snippets if in and after and just looking at the stats, it is a completely different team. You're looking at that the Kansas City series. I'm sorry, is the changing factor still to this day. Yeah, you go up against Sioux City and you falter out of 2 of those games, but you're in there. You're in those games.
Right.
And then you come to Lake Country, who's number 1 in the East, and you basically shellac them in game 2. And now I get you're going to face them in 4 more games um, uh, in at Lake Country. So it's like the momentum's there. It's moving. It's just you're talking about the top dogs, like what they're doing. We're beating the top dogs. I said, well, you just got to worry about what we're doing at the bottom here. Like the momentum. You keep winning series. You keep winning series. You take care of what you can. This won't be the worst season in RailCats history, but we'll start scratching our way, clawing our way back to a playoff talk. Which with this team, yeah, there's been some subtractions, but some additions here that seem like they're going to work itself out, and things are starting to kind of look a little positive.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a totally different team. It feels like different vibe. Um, I'm gonna tell you, I am outrageously excited about this team right now. Um, there's still a little bit of that nervousness, but um, I'm excited about it. So I'm hoping that it's status quo moving forward.
Yeah. Can't forget about the 2 All Stars that are named to the starting roster, Elvis Peralta and Jarius Richards. Nate Alexander was last man in, but did not get voted in. I think me and you were both kind of surprised by the Nate Alexander pick instead of someone maybe else like a Peyton Long,
Yep.
who had. Now I don't know if that was a little bit of recency bias with Peyton because he just came off that 9-game shutout, and they probably already had the ballots in, or whatever the case may be. I don't know how they all stemmed that out, and with him going to the IR, I don't really know if like Lamar was like, yeah, I don't really know at that point. Um, but nonetheless, having Jarius Richards and Elvis Peralta, I knew Elvis Peralta was a lock for sure. I wasn't sure. I know with people playing at first, Swazi may have not getting it, but I mean, I still would have probably gone with Swazi just with his numbers that he's been putting up. Been putting up All Star numbers now, and obviously you have to have people in front of him for his RBI totals and stuff like that. And Jarius Richards and Elvis Peralta are those front 2. But it's just I just looking at the numbers aspect of it, it's like who I don't know. Either way, happy for those 2, and they both deserve it.
Absolutely. Um, it was kind of a weird thing saying Richards out there and not hitting the ball very well, not getting on base. Found out later that he's actually been sick.
Mm.
And so that's why they yanked him out yesterday, had him out today. Um, there's been a lot of sickness going on in the clubhouse. Previous to that, uh, I believe one of the Jacobs was sick. We had talked about why we're choosing who to be closers, right?
Yep.
Um, and come to find out, one of our pitchers didn't even go on the trip to Sioux City because he was sick. So Jacob Coates starts feeling better. All of a sudden, he's out there closing games. Um, so it's a lot of times we question decisions that people are making, but then we find out this is why, and it's like, that makes sense now. So we just have to. I'll say this: I have a lot of faith in what Lamar's doing. I'm definitely seeing the big picture, and I'm glad that he's there.
I, I the thing about it's riding the high, right? I don't want to. I think
We don't
I,
want to.
I, when we played Kansas City, we played them really well. So it was like, oh, I see it. It's right there. And then we
Right,
play Sioux City. It's like, okay, we're kind of yes, we lost 2 out of 3, but we were in every single game. But it just kind of felt like, oh, here we go. We're going back down the hill.
right,
And
right.
then we faced Fargo, who's a team that we should take, and we did. And then it's like, okay, we're going back up. Now it's Lake Country. Okay, they're the top dog in the East. How are we going to um, play that one out?
Right.
And we walk them off in game one. Or, no, that was Fargo, right? Because we played them. That was yeah, I think it was Fargo. My
Well,
bad.
we beat Lake Country. I think it was 4-1.
Yeah, we beat them the first game that Friday, and then we completely blow them out on Saturday, and then
Yep.
okay, we falter in one. But what's the motto right now? It's win 2 of 3. Like that's what you got to worry about.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even like we're not the ones on the receiving end of the beating.
Yes.
That's been what it's been is it's been like, okay, if there's a beating, we're on the receiving end, and if it's a close game, we're kind of losing it at the very end, but we're keeping it close. No, this has been the other way. And I'll tell you what, when we're facing Fargo, and we just finished Sioux City, we just finished Kansas City, still not getting any respect, right? We're facing Fargo, and one of the guys on Fargo steals a base when they're up by a lot, and our guys took exception to it, and they're like, hey, and then one of the Fargo guys gets out there, and he's like, why don't you guys just win a game? You guys are losers. Why don't you win a game? And uh, this guy was also mad at the very last inning. This new pitcher that we had, his first time ever playing in a professional game, winds up getting the bases loaded, gets out of it with no runs, got his first strikeout. Whole team's cheering for him, and this guy's like, "Why are you cheering? You're losing the game. Why are you cheering?" Right? Because he doesn't get it at the time. He doesn't know everything that's going on, and he's kind of got these
Yeah.
blinders on to the fact that hey, we're a losing team. Um, but really, I think it's that he's just pissed off that we're being competitive, right? And uh, we win the next two. And when he came up to me at the end of that last game, I said, "Hey, I just want to say we listened." He's like, "Huh?" I said, "Well, you told us to go out there and win a game, and we won two." And he's like, "You're right. That's on me. This one's on me." So
And it's one of those things that I don't really think the players themselves know what's really going on with everyone in the league because they're playing every day almost, and they see a RailCats team that's losing way more games than they're winning, so like oh this should be an easy thing, and they're not really diving into the numbers behind it or what they're doing. And like I said, most of these games are close games, and we're just
right,
not coming out on the other side of it. But what we saw this week was a full team effort. The full team, excluding today because the numbers aren't updated, but excluding today, the team was batting at 281 and a pitch. The ERA. You want to guess what the ERA was?
our ERA is under a two.
This for this week 1.61.
Yeah.
We scored 31 runs and gave up 19, and 10 of them were earned.
Yeah.
Like that.
Uh, if you, I mean, if you really think about it, we had a game where we had 9 hits in the
Mm-hmm.
game, and every player on the roster that played that game got a hit. We had only one hit. Each one of them had one hit. And I asked Andrew Mild, how often do you see that? And he says, when I saw that and I said something about it, he goes, you do not see that very often at all. Normally there's a guy that gets 2 or 3 hits, a guy that gets one hit, a guy that just doesn't get any at all. No, that game, everybody got it. These guys are clicking. And then, after all said and done, we wind up making some changes,
Hmm.
right? We get rid of Baron Corbin, who was batting a buck 80, I believe. He gets picked up by Milwaukee. Noriega leaves because his wife's pregnant. She's having some issues. She's nervous about getting ready to have this baby. So he says, "Hey, can you release me so I can go home?" He ends up getting picked up by Kane County. I think that they didn't realize that he was
I think it was one of those situations where
for
King County,
personal reasons.
yeah,
Right. And then we wind up getting rid of Jake Allgaier, which
it traded to the Pioneer League
right,
for.
interesting enough, we we trade him to Oakland Ballers, who have already won the first half of their season. They're already guaranteed a playoff spot. We trade to them for a player to be named later, but Lamar says, essentially from what I heard from multiple sources was Lamar said, "Hey, I don't want I don't want you to leave here, right? I want you on the team, but I don't want you sitting the bench. I want you getting some playing time. So what I want to do is send you to Oakland so you can play and then bring you back next season as the player to be named later."
And
So
and
he is
that
the player to be named later.
okay. In the grand scheme of things, that works out wonderful and well in theory.
Huh.
But the issue is you send him to the Pioneer League, and he doesn't do very well over there, or he does really well,
Right.
right? And you that I don't mind the hey, I want you playing, you deserve to play. Um, he's been better, but the issue is that you're Jake Hoover's coming back,
Yep.
and Marcus Gonzalez is coming back. So and with Ernie, this week was batting at 350 with his numbers starting to skyrocket. It's like I get it, but I don't need you, and I respect that about Lamar is he sees potential in younger players, and he wants to give them a chance. So it's hey, if this is Plan A, and you come back next year, that's great.
Yep.
I just hope Plan A is the bottom of the barrel for Jake Allgaier.
Right. Right.
I hope that if it's something different. It's for right now. It's Howard Rodriguez right now. He's playing great with Chicago. I think he's got a grand slam. He's been hitting the ball all over the place.
I saw he had 2 home runs and 2 for 4 game. Had a couple of games where he went 0 for 2 or 0 for 3, 0 for 4. Was batting a 250, but he's getting a chance to play, and he's
I,
showing his value.
I'm just it's one of those instances where like I
Yeah.
said, these players that
Or
get
Jose Contreras, right?
yes.
Jose Contreras didn't get playing time. He's the number 3 hitter or number 4 hitter in the lineup for Joliet, and he's killing it, right? Batting last I looked, I think he was batting like a 350 or something. So yeah, I mean, give these guys an opportunity, let them play somewhere. And that's kind of the name of the game. Lamar's seeing that. We think that I would say that the novice guy who watches RailCats baseball, or even some of the fans that think they know a lot about baseball, but they have a very limited view of it. Um, Lamar's got a lot of hats that he wears, and it's not just his responsibility to make sure he's got the best 9 guys out there. It's also his responsibility to make sure in 2 weeks from now he's got the best 9 guys out there. Uh, and when something fails, you see a 13-2 game,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what happened to Lake Country yesterday was a failure on their management part. The failure was they have 2 injuries. They don't have enough reserve players to be able to cover it. And they're playing as skin as they can, as skinny as they can, and having a lot of pitching. And what happens? They lose their DH. Their pitchers have to start hitting, and they lose a game 13-2. That was poor planning. Go back a week ago, go back 2 weeks ago. Poor planning on management's part for them. Lamar has to make sure that we don't get into a situation like that. He's got a lot of things that he's responsible for, more than just making sure we win a game with the 9 best players we have out there.
I
And
agree.
and and I think he's doing it. The fact that we got, Marcos comes in, the fact that we've got he's sending Jake Algeier to a place that he can succeed with the hopes that he comes back for next year. You've got um, sending Barron, getting rid of Barron, but you've got Jake Hoover coming up. It's just all of these different things are coming into play, and you can see that, man, he's juggling a lot of knives, but he's doing a good job at it. And we're winning some games.
Yeah, and I think the big reason why Baron Radcliffe, obviously his numbers have gone dwindling down, but Jake Gunther, who can play anywhere in the outfield and has been hitting the cover off the ball and can give you what you need, uh, even if we're hearing different speculations behind some of things that people may have said, but that Baron Radcliffe, like, yeah, it sucks to see him go to a certain extent, but you're. I think what we're seeing this year, what we haven't seen in years past, is that there are players that are coming out. And granted, the record's not. We're not like here the record, like, oh, we're not going to worry about the record kind of deal, because it's still a big part of it. But what you're seeing from years past is they were bringing in players that weren't exceeding the starting players, and you're starting to see some of that. You're starting to see these players that they're bringing in, and it's a change of scenery. It could be a change of scenery just for a Jose Contreras, or Howard Rodriguez, or an Allgaier. Like, they may go to those areas and may outperform their competition, but they
Right.
just weren't. Their best wasn't good enough to compete with who we had at the
Right.
moment.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the pitcher that we brought in that,
Yeah,
starts yesterday. Um, wow.
yeah,
You know, our starting, I'm going to say four, our starting four guys, three of them are looking fantastic. One's too new, but he still had a great outing. And then you've got Danny, who's, yanked off today after 3 with a back issue. So, hopefully he gets back. Irwin goes to the injured list. He's got a couple of weeks before he is going to be able to be doing much of anything. So, just stuff like that, it's everything is kind of lining up. Um, but the part that I found to be the uh, kind of an ironic part today was, when Lincoln let go of Derek Maven,
hmm
I said this would be a great guy to have on the team because he's a guy that he runs out of every play. He scraps. I mean, he's both has talent, athleticism, but he also has that I'm going to get it done type of attitude, and that's the kind of guy that you love having on the team. He goes to Fargo and gets picked up a couple days later, and Fargo comes in and winds up like, he was the guy that was kind of getting hits on us and stuff,
yeah,
and he's the guy that's when the other guys weren't succeeding, he was out there scrapping and making it happen. And I believe there was 1 or 2 plays where against Fargo where he's running it out and it's a late throw and he gets on base and maybe beats it by a half a step. But if it was anybody else, they would have gave up on it.
hmm
And then he winds up getting traded to Lake Country so that he could face us again, and he does it again. Another play where we get the ball and we throw it to first, and he just outruns it. And it's like, man, that guy is doing an amazing job. He's a guy that you'd love to have on your team, and I hate the fact that he's in our division now and on Lake Country. But I mean, whew, it, hey, it's been fun, some fun baseball. Uh, I did get harassed on 2 things this past couple of days. Yesterday, I was asked why I keep wearing the same jersey. I wore the same jersey for 5 games in a row. Today, I wore it and we lost, so that jersey will get put away. I was wearing it because we were winning. Uh, it's what happens. AJ was in the dugout for those 4 games that we won. Today we were playing catch on the field and he hurt himself. He wanted to go home, so he didn't go in the dugout and we lost. So obviously this is because of him.
Yep.
Um,
So why?
so
The question is, why did you have to hurt him? Why did you hurt AJ?
I he had to bend over. 12 years old had to bend over and get a ball and hurt himself. All right, that's
That sounds like you. That sounds like you probably like accidentally ran into him.
no. This was just oh, I bent over and now it hurts to bend over. I need to go home and lay down and ice my yeah.
Hey, it's
So
very important that at the age of 12, that when you pull your back out, you make sure you get some ice on it.
no, this was more of the groin area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So uh definitely his fault that we lost today. Um I had an umpire the first game of this series. Um the umpire behind home plate. I have this thing. If I know your name, it's because you make terrible calls. Um, and then typically I heard that sometime that if you don't know the umpire, you should never know the umpire's name because they're not the ones that are the star of the game, right? And if you know their name, then it's because they've been doing awful. So the first base umpire comes over to me and he asked me, from last year, uh, have I seen Clay and have I been getting into trouble? And I'm like, no, that guy's name's Tom. And when he comes back over to me again, I said, hey, this umpire behind home plate, did he fail anatomy class? And he looks at me and I said, because he's getting his knees and his ankles confused for the strike zone, you know? And he laughs. He goes, oh, his name's Jet, Jett. So the next game, Jet is on third base and he walks all the way over to me and says, hey, I want to thank you. Now I have no idea. I'm thinking, what are you going to thank me because I said you failed the dancing class and you need to get your knees and your ankles, straightened out? And so I said, oh, okay, for what? And he goes, well, last year I won umpire of the year and you posted, I don't know his name, so he must not be that bad. And I laughed and I shook his hand in that, and I thought that was really funny. And I said, oh, okay, uh, and that, but the crazy part was is I learned his name the game before because his stupid strike zone was too low. So that was pretty humorous. And then today he came over to me a couple of times. So these umpires know who I am. They're coming over and talking to me. I've got Paulie yelling and screaming at me that I'm not allowed to fraternize with the umpires. I said, hey, I'm just giving him his money, and that and all that fun stuff. Um, it's I don't know. It was a great week at the baseball park, and it was all because we were winning.
It does. When you're winning, it makes the uh, the atmosphere just a little bit better. And, and like I said, what did I say last week? I said if you're going to lose at this point, lose on the road
Right.
and win at home, because if we win at home, guess what? That brings more people to the stadium and more people to cheer, and it brings more money to the RailCats. So at that point, and then we also have to correct a statement. Was it last week or the week before when we were on this log rant about losing out on games because they had the way the schedule is stupid, and
That was you.
it was me. I got corrected, and everyone gets the same amount, and it's still to me it's getting corrected towards the later end of the year, but to me I still think it's dumb. Um, but again,
So
I do this for free and I don't get paid to do it.
I want to throw this out there, and kind of reiterate it again. Uh, I am excited about this team. This team is playing the best baseball in the league. Okay, when I say that, we are facing the number one team in Kansas City. We beat them and knocked them out of first place. We then face Sioux City, who is number one, and we knocked them back out of first place.
Okay, we only took one game from them.
We did, but we knocked them back out of first place. We did.
Chuck, I
Okay, we took one out of three. when the last
You can't. You can. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't knock someone out of the top spot when you just win one game and they were tied with
Dude,
another team and you just got done facing and they end up
That's
winning
what
that night. And then they go
that's what happened.
at the end of the series. Guess what? They're back at number one because they beat you twice.
That's not what happened. Nice try.
That's exactly what
That's,
happened.
no, that's not what happened. Anyways,
Then what happened?
getting back to the truth here, because you and your fake news lies. Um, yeah. So then we faced the number one team in Lake Country, and we knocked them out of first place. I'm just saying, we're playing better than the first place teams.
And what the impressive part about this is that this team hasn't really had like an off day. I mean, obviously they had it on July 7th, but the last one prior to that was June 23rd, and they don't get another break until the All-Star break, which is 2 weeks from or next week the 21st.
Yep.
So, but again, playing that many games and what the travel schedule has been and what you're able to that's impressive. Like you can't subtract the fact that it's been impressive what they've been able to do with the amount of time that they've been jumping all over the.
There's so many things that you don't even take into account, and these guys are blowing it away with the way that they're playing. We've been playing some relatively air-free baseball, which has been fantastic. Um, our defense, Basabe had one where I swear that ball must have been coming 120 miles an hour at him off to the side, and he just snagged it up and threw it. And it was like, wow. I mean, I think it knocked him on his butt when he did it, but it still got the guy out. I mean, we're making plays. We've got a hell of a team. We really do. And so I hope once again that things do not change. We all know who I'm talking to right now. I hope that things do not change. I hope that we continue to have this great team for the rest of the season.
There was 26 games in 27 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So looking forward so by the time this comes out, the first game against Lake Country will be already be played. So it's Lake Country for 4, and then King County for 3 at home, and then or some of them are on to Fargo for the 3-day All-Star break. So
All right.
that's where we're at. Chuck, do you got a final up for?
I want to throw something out there that's going to be controversial, but I'm going to let it out there. I absolutely hate Park in the Park. I do. I absolutely hate Park in the Park.
Why?
You know, when you're trying to get from point A to point B and you have to walk through a maze of people standing there with their dogs playing the see how long my dog can sit in one spot game. Um, and then one dog starts to attack another dog, and it's like, really, do I want to see dog on dog crime? And then you're sitting there and you start hearing dogs yelp when the game's going on, and all I can think of is some kid getting mauled by a dog. Uh, yeah, I hate Park in the Park.
Just say you don't like dogs. You're just not a dog person.
No, I do. I like dogs. I don't like
You just
yelpy
don't
dogs.
like a plethora amount of dogs in the same place.
I don't. No, I don't. I think you keep your dog at home because that's where your dog should be. Your dog shouldn't be in a grocery store. It shouldn't be at a restaurant. It shouldn't be at the baseball game.
You know what? You know what, Chuck? I'm gonna make sure that my 2 dogs get customized T-shirts that says "Chuck hates Bark in the Park," and the next Bark in the Park we have, we're gonna go with the dogs, and they're gonna be wearing that, and we're gonna sit right next to you, and we have Pug, so all I'm gonna do is this the entire time. So I hope you really enjoy what you just said to me.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Got it. Anthony. So Chuck doesn't like Bark in the Park. I think you need to shut it down. And then Chuck can make a public statement on why there's no Bark in the Park anymore.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Chuck,
I will be the guy that all the people that have dogs will hate because
no regrets,
they don't get
no
to bring
shame.
friendly mutts into the baseball field and have them. I could just see a baseball go flying and a kid go to pick it up and a dog goes and yanks his arm off because he's chasing after a darn ball. I could see that. So yeah, not a fan of bark in the park. Chicken in the park, I'd be interested because I have chicken.
Yeah, totally fine. Totally
Right,
fine. With a
chicken
bunch
in
of
the
chickens
park,
running
that would
around
be fun.
pecking people. Got it. All
Yeah,
right. Okay.
great.
Yeah.
So yeah, no bark in the park. That's my one. And then, really, uh, Kyle, I'm gonna have to ask you a favor because there was something that I really was looking forward to that takes place, I believe, in 6 days. And from what you're saying, that might not be able to happen. And that is Princess and Pirates Night, where you were gonna dress up like a princess.
Crap.
Um, and so that is, I believe, the 19th of this month. And I believe that is also a jersey auction, which that is something else that we didn't mention. The jerseys this year went for more money than I have seen in 4 years. And I believe I asked you to guess which player's jersey sold for the most. And when I said
Two
there's no
tries.
way you're going to guess this,
Two
huh?
tries.
I said there's no way you're going to guess this. And then all of a sudden, Cooper was the one that you threw out there because I said you would never guess this. And sure enough, you were right. I believe Cooper sold for like $200. Um, there was a bunch of them that sold for 150, 175. And Jason, the first base coach, was ecstatic that his jersey sold for $150. That one of the people that bought the jersey had a softball that they wanted to have signed, and he went to every player and said, "Can you sign this for the people that bought my jersey for $150?" He didn't just say, "Hey, can you sign this?" He made sure he told everybody that bought my jersey for $150. Now I'm going to put this in perspective. I would have thought Cody Reed sold for $150. Jason's actually sold for more than Cody Reed's.
And like I said, Chuck, yes, Cody Reed is an ex MLB player. I get it, but most of these people that are buying jerseys don't look that far into it.
I know, but I thought,
I,
but no.
If there was some enthusiasm that were out there, like, hey, Cody Reed's jersey, I could probably get it for pretty cheap, but when you sniff the MLB for a little bit, I don't really think that listen, I'm not throwing any shade at him. I'm just saying, oh, fine. I guess I'm throwing shade at Cody Reed because he touched the MLBs and I never did. So like,
Right,
yeah, I have so
right.
much shade to throw at him. But
No, he's I thought his would have been up there with, but Jason sold and he was excited and ecstatic, and he's like, that's more almost double what they paid last year. And I'm like, hey man, great. Peralta sold high. I mean, I think there was like no less than out of the 25 or 27, 28 jerseys, whatever the number was. I'm going to say there was no less than 15 that sold for over $100. And that, to put that in perspective, um, last year, I believe there was one where 4 or 5 jerseys didn't even hit $60, the minimum.
so
Uh,
I have my theory on that, Chuck. I have my theory. There are two theories. One, I think that the social media aspect of what the RailCats have been doing has been slightly better and being able to promote some stuff.
right.
So like maybe some players you get to know a little bit better than you would on like years past. But I think the big contributor is the jerseys this year are about 100 times better than they were last year. The ones they did on Friday, was it Meals on Wheels?
Yeah.
I am absolutely jealous that I was not at that game to auction for that jersey because it was beautifully done. These jerseys this year are, I think it I'm sorry, I don't think a lot of people wanted to wear a highlighted yellow construction jersey with a road running through the middle of it.
I
And
think I got 4 of those.
I'm
Is
just
that-
I'm just saying that when the jerseys are done right, and like a Peralta, he's been on the he's been featured with the American Association. He's a lovable player. He plays out of his mind. Cooper Edwards has a cult following, and his jersey is gonna, you see that, and it's interesting, and I just think it encompasses when things are done correctly, people are willing to spend their hard-earned money.
That's right. And so happens that I also agree with your theory, that awful looking jerseys are not going to sell very much.
Unless it's like ugly Christmas themed, then
Right,
ugly
right.
Christmas letter.
Yeah, that I could go with. But um, the Pirates and Princess jersey that was supposed to be the Indiana Beach jersey from Indiana Beach Day that came in late. That's why they didn't do it. That jersey was created by Noel,
Yep.
and this one was also created by Noel. And I asked her, which one do you like better? And she says, I like the Pirates one better.
I think they've leaked it.
They have. And so you'll get to see what that Pirates one looks like if you go online. So that being said, I was kind of on the fence on what jerseys I was going to be able to get this time. Oh man, I do not doubt that those jerseys are going to go for some good money here at Pirates and Princess Night. So you guys better be there. Um, we, hey, we want to win.
My final out is so Chuck. I'm gonna have to put a rain check on me dressing up like a princess. How about this? How about this? We'll double it for next year, right? We'll hold and double it for next year. So I will, I'll make it even better for you. Make it even better for you. I will dress up like a princess, and I'll have my wife dress as a pirate. How about that? How about that? Or
Well,
I'll dress like a princess, and then I'll dress my son up as a pirate. All right, then double it and send it for next. Two mistakes on my portion of it. Okay, one, knowing it's gonna be sort of kind of close to when the baby's born. I know it's like a month out, but two, I totally forgot to request that game off because my weekend's been absolutely crazy, and I have to work that day. So
oh,
I wouldn't be there in general.
okay. So hold on, though. Hold on. How about this? How about this? I am willing to take the rain check on one condition.
Okay.
Okay. I don't need to have 2 people dressed up, but you have to dress up like a princess on a day that is not the Pirates and Princess Night.
Okay. All right. All right.
Pull out.
I thought maybe you wanted me to wear like two different, like two dress, like the first half of the game I wear one, and then the second half of the game I wear another. But
If
okay.
you're off, if
All
you're off,
right, fine. All right. Well, Chuck, if you got nothing, I got nothing. That's gonna wrap it up for the rest of this week. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening when you're watching this, and go Cats.
okay.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wrap this one up in green and white.